Good morning, class. Welcome to the lecture 8.1 of ME269, Material Science and Engineering. So in this video, I will be discussing steel grade systems using AISI or SAE designation. So let's get started. So steel grades, engineers give great consideration to selecting the best and most appropriate material for component construction. So as a central aspect to component design and vital to creating products that perform their function safely and effectively, a thorough understanding of the key properties of metal and alloys and how those properties change in response to processing and environmental exposure is required. So para mapabili yung pag-select ng mga engineers or designers and ma-unify yung the properties of the material for those who supplies or produce these materials, nag-designate ng steel grades. So every steel grades ng isang materyales or ng isang metal, may kaakibat yon na property. So different steel grades, different mechanical property. So steel grades is used to classify various steels and alloys by their composition and properties have been developed by a number of standard organizations. So ano yung mga standard organizations na yun na common? So we have here AISI or the American Iron and Steel Institute, SAE. So we have here AISI or the American Iron and Steel Institute. So they are the ones who give material grades specifically on iron and steel. Of course, we have here SAE or the Society of Automotive Engineers. And we have ASTM International or the American Society of Testing and Materials. And lastly, we have the Aluminum Association or AA. So marami pang mga standard organizations. So per country nga meron. In Europe, may ibang standard for steel grades doon or metal grades. Sa Japan, meron din, etc. So let's talk about AISI SAE steel grades. So sa video na to, magfo-focus tayo dito sa AISI SAE designation system. So the SAE steel grade system is a standard alloy numbering system for steel grades maintained by SAE International. So in the 1930s to 1940s, the American Iron and Steel Institute and the Society of Automotive Engineers or SAE were both involved in efforts to standardize such a numbering system for steels because syempre para mas maging madali yung pag fabricate or pag-produce ng certain materials with a certain mechanical properties, no? So for several decades, the system were united into a joint system designated the AISI or SAE steel grades. So in 1995, the AISI turned over future maintenance of the system to SAE because the AISI never wrote any of the specifications. So majority ng specifications of the steel grade using this system is published by the SAE. So ginawa, in-overturn na nung AISI yung maintenance ng system nila dun sa SAE. So the SAE steel grade system corresponds So the SAE steel grade system corresponds to other alloy numbering system such as the ASTM SAE Unified Number System or UNS. So i-discuss natin to sa future videos. So SAE steel designation system, it is comprises of 4 numbers or 4 digits. So i-discuss natin kung ano tong 4 digits na yan. So yung first two digit, those are the type of material selected. And then the last two digit will be the number or the amount of carbon present in the steel. So para mas maintindihan natin, papakita natin yung mga different type of material selected. So ito yung major classifications natin ng steel. So each kind of alloys or metal alloys may designation niya na numbers. So yun yung magiging first digit ng ating SAE designation. So for carbon steels, our number designation is 1. So lahat ng carbon steels na under sila ng 1 series. So check natin. So ito yung mga example ng carbon and alloy steel grade. So makikita natin yung pinagkaiba-iba nila, no? So iba-iba yung second digits nila. So first, if the material is plain carbon, pag sinabi nating plain carbon, ang manganese content niya is 1% at maximum. And the remaining composition sa kanya is carbon and iron. So, designated yan by 1 and 0. And if the carbon steel is resulfurized, in terms of the production, no, ni resulfurize, the SAE designation for that is 1,1. Kapag na-resulfurize naman ay na-reforce, nilagyan mo siya ng sulfur and phosphorus, the SAE designation for that will be 1,2. Next, if the material is plain carbon as well, pero the manganese content is 1% up to 1.65% maximum, that is 1,5 SAE designation. For 1,3 designation naman, those are manganese steels, which is under pa rin yan ng carbon and alloy steel. Kaya siya tinawag na manganese steel because the huge amount of manganese lagpas na dun sa plain carbon. 'Di ba? Ang plain carbon natin hanggang 1.65. Sa manganese steel naman 1.75%. Okay. Next, let's talk about nickel steels, or the SEE designation for that will be 2. So for nickel steels, we have 2, 3 and 2, 5. Kapag ang nickel content mo is 3.5%, that is considered 2,3 for designation. And kapag 5% naman, 2,5. Next, let's talk about nickel chromium steels. So they are alloy steels that has nickel and chromium on their composition. So number 3 yan, no? So pare-pareha sila na 3. Pinagkaiba lang nila is the percentage of nickel and chromium. So pag ang nickel mo is 1.25, chromium mo is 0.65, that is 31. 1.75 ang nickel, chromium mo is 1.07, that is 32. If you have nickel of 3.5 and the chromium mo is 1.5 or 1.57, so in between nun, it is designated by 33. And lastly, the material is designated by 34, SAE 34, kapag ang nickel content mo is 3% and the chromium content mo is 0.77%. Next, let's talk about molybdenum steels. For molybdenum steels, they are under 4 series. The difference between them is the percentage pa rin ng composition material, which is molybdenum. If the material is under 41 series or 41XX series, it has a chromium on their composition. So kagaya nito. Tawag natin sa chromium molybdenum steels, they are called chromoly. So hindi lang to yung 4 series natin, no? So we have here nickel chromium molybdenum steels. So under 43 series, so we have certain percentage of nickel, which is 1.82, chromium of 0.5 to 8%, and molybdenum of 0.25%. Here, 43BV series, pinagkaiba niya dito sa 43 series, meron siyang vanadium at a certain percentage of 0.03%. And then, also, there is boron added to it. Ilang nalagay dito. Next, we have 47 series or wherein the material natin has nickel, chromium, molybdenum pa rin at a certain percentage. No? So next, also another on 4 series, we have nickel, molybdenum steels. So ang material na naman natin na nagko-compose sa kanya will be the nickel and molybdenum lang. So 46 and 48. Next, chromium steels or under the 5 series. So chromium steels, it is ranging from 0.27% to 1.45, yung pinakamalaki. So they are not considered as stainless steels. Kung babalikan natin yung ferrous and non-ferrous metal, nabanggit natin dun yung stainless steel. And the major alloying element to that steels, of course, is chromium. Malaki na yung amount ng alloying element natin. And they are considered as high alloy steels, no? So, in this case, maliit yung percentage natin ng chromium. So, therefore, it is not considered as stainless steel. Tawag natin dito is chromium steels. So, it is ranging from 50 series up to 52 series. So, as you can see here, may kakaiba siyang designation wherein after the 50 digit, merong B sa gitna ng 4-letter digit designation natin. Yung B na yan, that symbolizes that the material has boron on it. So, meron kang added boron. Same goes with here, yung 51 series na may B sa gitna. So, meaning, the material has boron in it. Next, let's talk about chromium vanadium steels. So, they are the steels with chromium vanadium as the main alloying element. So, kakaunti lang yung series nila, no? Isa lang. So, 61 series. So, they have chromium, vanadium on their composition. So, next, we have tungsten steels. So, konti lang din yung series nila, no? So, it is designated by 7.2. So, most likely, the amount of tungsten is 1.75% and the chromium content of the material is 0.75%. Next, let's talk about nickel, chromium, molybdenum steels. So, under 8 series siya. So, actually, hindi lang 8 series because hanggang 9 series siya, no? So, as you can see, kagaya nung kanina, meron tayong B in between. It means that the material has added boron on the composition. And then, umabot siya hanggang 9 series, which is 93, 94, 97, and 98 series. And lastly, we have silicon manganese, also under 9 series. So, under 92 series siya, wherein the material has silicon that has 1.4% to 2%, and manganese which ranges to 0.65, 0.82, or 0.85, and added chromium dun sa material natin. Next, iba naman yung designation natin kapag ang material mo is stainless steel. So, as you can see here, we have 100 to 900 series. So, iba yung classification natin doon sa ating common steels or alloy steels, kagaya kanina. Ulitin ko, ang mga stainless steels, they have chromium or huge amount of chromium on their compositions. So, if the material is for general purpose stainless steel, it is under 100 series. If it is austenitic chromium nickel manganese alloys, they are 200 series. If it is austenitic chromium nickel alloys, 300 series yan. Ferritic and martensitic chromium alloys, they are under 400 series. If the chromium alloys or the stainless steel natin is heat resisting, they are under 500 series. So next, for 600 series naman, originally created for proprietary alloys which are no longer given SAE grade numbers. And lastly, 900 series for austenitic chromium molybdenum alloys. So para mas maintindihan natin yung SAE steel grade system natin or the SAE AISI, so magbigay tayo ng example and then interpret natin yung binigay na steel grade into the specifics, no? So para magamit din natin yung mga tinuro kanina. So first, interpret natin yung SAE 118. So una nating gagawin, titingnan natin yung first two digits. Kung makikita natin, the first digit is 1, therefore it is carbon steel. And then 1, most likely it is resulfurized. So babalikan natin yung table kanina, no? So base dito sa table natin, under siya ng carbon and alloy steel. And then the material is resulfurized kapag under siya ng 11 series. Next, titignan natin yung last two digits. Kagaya na nabanggit ko kanina, the AISI SAE designation system consists of 4 digits. The first two digits yung diniscuss natin sa mga table, and the remaining digit will be the percentage of carbon. So yung percentage na yan, hindi yan 18%. So ang gagawin mo lang, i-divide mo sa 100 and that will be the percentage. So our carbon content of this material is 0.18% of carbon. So SAE 1118, that is resulfurized carbon steel containing 0.18% of carbon. Next, let's interpret this steel grade, no? So we have here SAE 5130. So titingnan natin yung first two letter 51 or first two numbers natin. So 51 yan, no? So that is chromium steel alloy with 0.8% to 1.05% chromium. So kung babalikan natin, we have here 5-1 series. So dalawa yung 5-1 series natin. We have 5 digit na 5 series and we have 4 digit. Since ang binigay na sa atin na designation is 4 digit lang, ito yung titignan natin. Next, titingnan natin yung last two digits, which is 30. So meaning, the carbon content of that material is 0.3%. So the carbon content is 0.3% ng buong composition. Lastly, we have here SAE 8710. So series siya ng 87. So 87. That is under nickel chromium molybdenum steel with 0.55% nickel and 0.5% chromium and 0.25% molybdenum. So kung babalikan natin, ito yan. So the carbon content is 0.1% base dito sa ating last two digits. So that will be the end of the lecture. If you have any question, you can message me on my messenger or email. Thank you.
Ba't ganito? Ba't ganon? Hayaang buksan ang isipan sa science o ang